Yali Podcast KE. It's a very, very chilly Monday morning, and there's no other better way to welcome you to our show. My name is Fred Tunya. Welcome to Deep Analysis. There's no better way of celebrating this Monday without, of course, inviting our guest in studio. Hey, Paul, how are you?
Great to be here. Thanks so much.
Paul is the CEO and the co-founder of Shortlist. Shortlist is a company, or a platform rather, that provides an opportunity for employers and employees to meet and, of course, harvest the best talent in the industry. But then there's no other way to understand Shortlist differently if it's not from the co-founder himself. So, Paul, tell us, what is this unique product we call Shortlist?
Yeah, I'd be happy to share it. So we started Shortlist initially as an HR tech platform, so a software solution that was helping companies to recruit more efficiently. And as our business evolved, it's kind of gone in two different directions. On one hand, we're an executive search firm that helps with leadership hiring, so hands-on senior hiring with a range of startups and social impact organizations across Africa. But on the other hand, and probably more relevant to Yali, we've taken our tech platform and we've started to apply it to designing and implementing large-scale youth employment programs where we're trying to put young Kenyans and young Africans into jobs and getting the critical work experience that enables them to learn the kinds of soft skills and durable skills that will help them throughout their careers, as well as starting to get that initial credential on their CVs or their LinkedIn profiles that let them stand out in a complicated job market.
Amazing. We're coming back to your engagement with young people and perhaps looking or focusing on Yali. But everyone will want to understand the future of this brand. In which countries do you feel there's easy or quick adoption? And how then do you feel that this solution is shaping the future of workplace?
Yeah, I think increasingly we view human capital rather than, let's say, financial capital as one of the binding constraints of whether these local economies and startup ecosystems can grow. I think our destiny is going to be shaped very much by where we're most needed. And when I talk about most needed, I think about where are there going to be opportunities to connect talent to opportunity, where are the demographics going to be expanding. So we're very bullish about the work that we're doing across Africa. As you would well know, and your listeners probably know,
across Africa,
a very young continent. There's a lot of people entering the workforce.
Very people. The vast potential, right?
Vast potential. There's more people entering the workforce across Africa in the next 10 years than the rest of the world combined, as including China and India and all those big countries. And so finding ways to make sure that people get jobs is not only, I think, critical for development and for the household incomes to be in a good shape and things like that, but it's also a huge opportunity for the world to tap into the talents and the energy of this emerging workforce.
Amazing. I love the fact that your company is providing the much needed solution, something that has not been there over and over decades of time. But are you able to single out some of the success stories, the impact of the already work you're doing or what Shortlist is providing here?
Yeah, I think you can look at our impact in a couple different ways. One is that we're unlocking the growth of impact organizations and social enterprises and NGOs to do their work better. So I spent many years as an impact investor supporting startups and providing financial capital, and we started to see over and over again that human capital was actually a bigger issue. And so one area is just helping these companies grow more efficiently. The area we're probably more excited about, though, is trying to connect people to these jobs. And we've found that there's a plethora of different ways people can get educated around skills right now. There's a lot of training programs and boot camps and, of course, a lot of universities. The missing ingredient usually to building a successful career and getting that right on-ramp is work experience. And so we've been running programs now for several years connecting talent to jobs in high-growth places, particularly around climate and clean energy and energy access. So we've been working on a couple of different large programs put hundreds of young people into internships and actually full-time jobs, apprenticeships with clean energy companies. But we've also been working a lot around remote digital work.
Yes.
So areas where people can sit in front of a computer here in Kenya, but be working on projects with global companies in the global digital economy. So we're working on a number of things there as well.
There's lots of interest and a lot of focus right now around climate change, clean energy, and everything around the very same spectrum. And of course, we love the fact that so many African countries are also trying to shape up over the climate change issue. But the key question, and I will give you a Kenyan context or an African context, or perhaps what happens globally. You find an opportunity that is advertised, and they say they want a 10-year work experience. So how do you address such young graduates? Perhaps 1 or 2 years after graduation?
We like to, that is absolutely a reality of the modern job board world, is that these job boards will list requirements that no normal person could meet, and it leaves young people in a catch-22. It's like the jobs require experience to get them, but they're looking for just a way to get experience in the first place. So what we focus on is trying to work with employers to figure out where can young talent fit in better. How can we shape an onboarding program that not only puts people into these jobs, but also gives them the kind of durable skills and mentorship and coaching where they can succeed in these jobs. And it's not easy. I don't want to make it sound like it's easy, but our hope is that with the right kind of support and the right kind of investment from governments, from philanthropies, and as well as more young people becoming aware of these opportunities and seeking them out, we think there's a great opportunity to get a lot more people onto that kind of first rung of their career ladders.
How do you work with the informal sector?
We don't work as much with the informal sector. We're very aware that that's where 80% plus of people find their jobs.
Africa?
Across Africa, absolutely. And I think what we're interested to see is, can we take advantage of the emerging growth of formal sector employment in places like energy access, as well as remote digital work, to get more people into more stable career track positions? There's nothing wrong with informal sector, and there's a lot of great organizations working on that. But I think we've seen there can be a lot of benefits in terms of income growth over time, responsibility growth, safety net considerations of employer-sponsored health insurance and other benefits, where our goal is to see, can more people find meaningful work and welcome work in the formal sector.
The informal sector in Africa and places like India or Asia, they are booming. And perhaps in the future there need to be something done to address a huge number of talent that is concentrated within that kind of space and take advantage of the same. But I'm happy.
Many of the people that join our programs are coming from perhaps informal sector opportunities or livelihoods. And many of the programs we're a part of, not necessarily what we do, but you'd be happy to know, many of the programs are trying to look at ways to equip micro-entrepreneurs and kind of the hustle economy with the skills needed to succeed on their own. Because, we're very aware that's where a lot of people are at right now.
We look at possible partnerships that are available, that the companies is already taking advantage of. Do you partner with government?
Absolutely. I think governments have a big interest in trying to create economic opportunity, in particular job creation for their citizens. And so one of the areas we work with is with governments, either as a funder or just as a partner, to design and implement some of these areas. And going forward, we hope to do that a lot more, because I think the more that there can be a shared strategy of which sectors promise great job creation, which sectors should we focus on, and then how do we use the combined strengths of both private sector and public sector to try to get that done. So absolutely. So today we work with a lot with governments as funders, but in the future, I hope it's a lot more as program partners as well.
The private sector, everyone will want to know your kind of partnerships with private sector.
Yeah. So the primary way we work with employers is with helping them find talent and then helping provide the kind of training and support to make sure that talent succeeds on the job, particularly around making sure that they have the right kind of soft skills and professional skills to succeed in that work.
So, Paul, a lot of people want to understand some of the challenges that you're faced with in this industry. It's a massive industry, but it doesn't work without challenges. And perhaps as an entrepreneur, many people want to venture into such industry. What could be some of the most outstanding challenges that you could mention to anyone who want to, venture into the industry or be part of the industry?
You're referencing almost two different kinds of challenges. There's the challenges we might face as entrepreneurs building businesses here, and then there's, of course, the challenges of matching people with jobs. I'll start with the second one. I think we think a lot about how do we get more people working in good formal sector career track employment if people want that. I think there is a mismatch between the expectations of employers and how the talent currently presents, particularly at entry level. Employers, you mentioned this before, are often looking for unrealistic expectations, 10 years of work experience, etc., and need to start learning how to identify potential earlier rather than just fixating on experience as the main thing that they're looking for. And on the talent side, I think, and this is also an educational issue, and this is a global issue, this is not an Africa issue, generally there's an over-reliance on subject matter that gets taught in school and an under-focus on the kind of professional skills, soft skills, durable skills that will help someone succeed. Things like teamwork and showing up on time and basic communication, particularly in a professional context, like how to use email and things like that. And so I think the more we can teach those and have those incorporated in, the easier it is for employers to onboard people and set people up for success. And then, of course, there's just a lack of awareness on both sides of the market. I think young people don't know what jobs they should be pursuing. Career services at many universities is a bit outdated. The advice of aunts and uncles and family members, they may not know that clean energy is one of the biggest growth sectors in the economy, and that rather than looking for a job at a pretty stable insurance company, this might be a great time to get started at an entry-level job in a clean energy company. And so raising awareness about where are the jobs, what do those jobs require, how do you access them, and then, of course, helping get people into them, I think is really important to address those challenges.
You're listening to Yali Podcast KE, and we have Paul Breloff in studio, the co-founder and CEO of Shortlist. Shortlist is a people-driven impact platform that definitely builds better way to hire, and of course it matches employers and employees. We take a short break. We will be back. Keep it Yali Podcast K. Hey everybody, welcome to the brand new Yali Podcast. This podcast is from Yali, the Kenya chapter. More people than ever are now investing in young people. This podcast therefore explores why investing in the youth is investing in the future. This podcast is exclusively free on Spotify and other platforms. Listen now and tell us what you think at Yali Podcast KE on Twitter, +254 702 963 262. The brand new Yali Podcast. Listen free exclusively on Spotify. Welcome back to Yali Podcast. My name is Fred Tunya, and this is the Deep Analysis Show. And this morning, we are super excited to host Paul Breloff, the co-founder and CEO of Shortlist, a platform that matches employees and employers, or perhaps employers and employees, whichever way you want to put it. And welcome back again. Of course, we were having a discussion around a huge marketplace. Job marketplace, that is Africa and part of Asia, including India and the rest of the world. And we're looking at how then is this company tapping into the already existing talent. If someone would want to be part of this program, Paul, what will they want to, what are the pre-qualifications? What will be the necessary steps, or how do people become part of Shortlist?
Yeah, there's a number of different ways to get involved. One is on the talent side, and I think that's probably more important. We do both senior leadership placements as well as entry-level talent programs. And so if people go to our website, www.shortlist.net, you can kind of make your own adventure and figure out the way. But I would say that for senior talent, this is people typically with 8+ years of experience, maybe more. We welcome people to kind of input their data and details so that we can find them when the right job comes up. For more junior talent, we're running a couple of different programs right now. We're running a few different programs related to clean energy careers, and you can find those on our website. But we love to have young people sign up there and make sure we have your details. We're going to be placing thousands of young people across East Africa into jobs in the next couple of years. So we desperately want more and more people to be sign up and share their information.
That is
www.shortlist.net. Yeah. And we also are running a very large program for Kenya specifically around cloud work, data labeling, digital customer service, where we're over the next 2 years trying to put 5,000 young Kenyans into these jobs,
including the Yali alumni, the Yali network.
Absolutely, we hope the Yali network will look these up, apply themselves, share with friends, and this is an opportunity to get into the kind of entry-level rung of data engineering and generally working in the global digital economy. So remote work where you don't have to worry about immigration issues necessarily. You can stay home but work with global companies.
Amazing, Paul. As we wrap up, technology is a boom today. Everything without technology is not moving anywhere. What is the vision of Shortlist with technology in place in the next 1 decade? In 10 years' time, where do you see Shortlist?
We certainly hope that we can take advantage of technology to put more people into jobs. And that may or may not be tech jobs, but right now what we're building towards is having a much more comprehensive database of young people that want to be working in these sectors like climate and clean energy, that want to find careers of meaning and purpose. We believe that tech can't do everything, and so what we're always focused on is what are the right ways that we can make sure that we layer in the right human touch and engagement to make sure this works. But more and more we hope that by having candidates in our database with the right data, knowing what they want, that we can be getting a whole lot more people into great jobs for the future.
Paul Breloff, the co-founder and CEO of Shortlist, of course, platform building better way to hire, combining the best of tech, data, and human touch. Of course, what he said to provide executive search and talent technology. Thank you so much for coming to Yali Podcast KE, and of course, sharing some of the amazing and great insights for this industry.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course, you are listening to Yali Podcast KE. You can always find us on YouTube. That is Yali Kenya, Yali Alumni Chapter of Kenya. And of course, we are on Spotify, and we are on each and every other social media platform at Yali Podcast KE. My name is Fred Tunya. Thank you so much for keeping it Yali Podcast KE. See you next week. Asante sana.